I always choose a stock of the day. I thought we'd take a look at Telstra, the communications giant. For a long time has been an absolute dud for investors, decades as it's tried to re-engineer from a monopoly business to taking on competition, and then the digitalisation of the world and data, and how do you re-engineer your business and your cost base for a brave new world. Over the last year or so, it's become a market darling. It had its investor day going at the moment, and this morning came out forecasting mid-single digit underlying earnings growth through to 2025. The Telstra board saying it will focus on maximising the company's fully franked dividend, adding it will seek to grow the payout over time. Looking ahead, Telstra says it's optimistic the split of InfraCo, ServCo and Telstra International will be finalised by the end of calendar 2022. The 5G rollout aiming to extend coverage to 95% of the country by the end of 2025 and cut $500 million in net costs. Wow. Carl, what do you think of the announcements? And you know, Telstra over the last year or so has come back into favour with investors. Andy Penn and his 4-year re-engineering program seems to be getting a bit of traction.
Yeah, look, we love a company, we love a management team with a plan, isn't it? And to be fair, Telstra management's always had a plan, haven't they, Koshi? They just haven't been able to execute always on that plan. So, but hey, what a wonderful set of bullet points that we've got out of this one, don't we? So $500 million worth of cost savings. We've got predicting and forecasting, significant uplift in growth to mid-single digits, mind you. That's just knocking my socks off. But hey, it's pretty good for Telstra, given that we've had really a structural decline in their business for many, many years. So it's like a little investing angel taking a tinkle in your ear, Koshi. Everything they said was magic. We're the only, if there was a downside, it was the delaying of the spin-off of those infrastructure assets into probably next year. But otherwise, it's all good news. And as you say, the investors have responded very positively to Telstra. It was only just literally October last year. It was down in the doldrums, but the run since then has been fantastic. And look, I would say for investors, stick with that run. Stick with Telstra. There's nothing in the charts to suggest to me that run can't continue. In fact, if I really zoom out and have a look at the longer-term weekly charts, we're in the midst of this quite a well-defined double bottom pattern, and probably many people have heard of that pattern. But generally, you come down, things aren't going so well. The management tries to make a change. We get a bit of a bounce, and then you get a retest of that low. And instead of breaking through that low because there aren't true believers, and there's not enough demand in the system to prevent that low breaking. In fact, we get increased demand. So people are starting to change their views on it. And that low comes in higher than the last one. And we've taken up sort of the midpoint. So if we think of peaks and troughs, in between those two troughs, there's got to be a peak in between them. There has to be. And we've taken out that peak. So that's the key technical level. It's around, obviously, that $384 level. And looking at this weekly chart, there's nothing really that's holding this down into 5. And really then we get into those 2014-15 highs around $6. So I'm a happy holder at this stage. We've had a buy on it for a while, and we're happy to hold it.
Okay. All right. So still a buy on it? Okay.
Yes.
Jason, what do you think of Telstra?
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So I was on with you, I think it was about a month ago now. We had Andy Penn on the same day.
Yep.
And we were talking all about T22 and what a great success it had been. That was all about how they were going to simplify the business, simplify their product range, reduce costs, and management said at that time, well, Andy said at that time, well, look, we've completed, or we're on schedule to complete 80% of that T22 program. And that was, was talking about what a great achievement that was. And now they've come out and they've got T25. So we've got a new plan on the deck. And when you're on a winning thing, keep it going. And right. So T25 is now all about building on that success and moving the company into a growth phase. And I think the success of T22 gives management a lot of credibility to sort of roll this out and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. So people, say, well, look, okay, they got some runs on the board. And I think a big focus is going to be the rollout of this 5G network and the ongoing digitisation in society at large. And for me, the key focus now is like we spoke about $4. But we spoke about $4 as being a key resistance point, and we looked at a weekly chart, and you could see that $4 over the last couple of decades, really, it's been a pivot point. So sometimes the market hits $4 and bounces off in the other direction and actually changes course. Other times it gets to $4, it pauses, and then it goes through. So what we're seeing now, we did pause. We actually did pause for the last month around $4. We've churned around just beneath it, around $3.80 to $4. Now we're having another crack at it with this strategy day coming out and the T25 and such. So I still think we're going to break through $4. I'd like to see the market close up at around $4.05, $4.10 to really sort of say, hey, look, we've gone through. But I still think it's going to happen. It seems to be happening now. So if you're on Telstra, stay with it, stay with the trend. The trend's up. And if you're not on board, if we do nudge up above $4, well, maybe that's the trigger to take a position and get some.
Okay, so we're at 401 at the moment. So do you start taking a position?
Oh, look, these levels don't work with pinpoint accuracy. You've got to give them a bit of margin for error. That's why I say sort of closing around maybe $4.05, $4.10. It's like when you look at things on a weekly chart, you can't be splitting hairs too finely. So look, let's say close at $4.05. If you don't have it, say, hey, look, we've closed it at a new multi-year high. It's time to get on board.
Okay. Well, what do I put you down for, Jason? A buy or a hold or a?
Oh, of course. No, well, I was a buy 4 weeks ago, and I'm still a buy now.
Okay, excellent. I had to pin you down on that because Telstra is in the calls fantasy portfolio. So if you said no, don't get into it, we'd take it out again. So, all right, we've cleared that one up.
We've been in 4 weeks.
All right, okay.